Hey traders, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look at USDN analysis from a fundamental and technical perspective. So as beginning, I want to begin with the fundamental perspective. During this week, we have one of the biggest events of the month, FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee. We have the Fed interest rate decision. It is expected that the Fed will not change the interest rates. It was 5.5 and the chances are that they will not increase these interest rates. However, the big focus will be also on the interest rate projection. This is done once in 3 months, so every quarter. If they are going to be hawkish on these numbers, probably they will support the USD. But if they are going to hold the same numbers because nothing big happened during this period of time, the chances are very high that probably we are going to see a dovish FOMC or a weaker dollar during this moment after the FOMC. Another important event that we have to focus will be 30 minutes later after the FOMC interest rate decision and interest rate projection. It will be the press conference from Chairman Powell. So we have to be very careful during this moment. However, I'm not so hawkish about this meeting. And later on Friday, we have the Bank of Japan interest rate decision. So it is not expected so far from them to increase the interest rates. And also, they already didn't do anything for the yield curve control. So they promised several times, but on the other hand, they are not taking further steps. However, we have to be very careful this time. During this month, we saw a very strong comment from Bank of Japan's Ueda. The focus will not be on a quiet exit, so they will begin to change the interest rates. However, they don't want to create big problems in the market, as we have discussed also before. Probably it will not be during this meeting. However, the chances are very high that probably Ueda is going to share other comments and further developments in order not to create this impact when they will take decision. So considering that probably FOMC is not going to share in anything interesting and we may hear very strong comments from Ueda, they may be hawkish step by step until they will take this decision. The chances are high that we may see USD-yen moving down further from this point. However, from a fundamental perspective, where we are on USD-yen, if we are going to check the current price position, we may see that the price on the weekly chart or the monthly is testing an old area. This is dating back in August 98. On the left side, we have November 89, and it was here in this point also on March 87. So this is showing that we are in a very strong zone, considering also the strong resistance areas here. In these conditions, it doesn't make sense that a very strong economy like Japan to face these problems here. That is why it doesn't make sense. It is normal that they are going to support the exports, but if the price is close to 79, 87 here at this point, these are very old areas. It was here also earlier. So it doesn't make sense in these conditions because the life is getting very expensive also for their people. Considering that we are on the top of the structure, when the price reached 159.80 approximately in this zone, during the previous time we saw the Bank of Japan to intervene in the market. They increased the minimum wage at this moment. That created the first market impact, and later they shared the news about a change on the yield curve. So they changed the 10-year bonds here. This was the movement that began this bearish movement here that corrected everything. The price came close to March 2022, April 2022. Everything was deleted easily. However, considering that the Bank of Japan didn't continue to support their economy like all the other big countries, that they increased the interest rates, they were looking at the inflation numbers, how they were actually developing, despite the fact that they didn't have the power to decrease the numbers where they want. However, the Bank of Japan is still showing that they don't want to change anything yet, so they are still waiting. And this is literally killing the yen pairs. As you can see, USD yen is close to the top again, and considering also this moment here, we have to be careful because the price is close to the point where it was before, when everything began during the previous time. But on the other hand, we have also a small problem. So when the price was at 145, the Bank of Japan sent several messages that they are going to change the yield curve. They were getting ready to intervene in the market for the yield curve control. This was the first movement that was created, but considering that they didn't intervene for several times, the market moved up again. So this was a clear revenge from the market. In these conditions, we have to be careful. I'm looking at this 5-wave pattern development here. This is a clear Elliot wave pattern. And usually, as a minimum movement after a 5-wave pattern, we know that we may see a 3-wave correction. However, why I'm looking at for 2000 profit potential? So let's say that FOMC can be a bit dovish this time, and probably the Bank of Japan will share something more interesting for the market. This is the movement that we may see that can push USD yen down up to 1000 pips. And probably when they will take further steps, the chances are that we may see the price developing more, and we may see the price testing the bottom again. Despite the fact that the Elliott wave, the 5-wave Elliott wave, is a bullish pattern most of the time, in the current situation when the price is still testing the top, this is increasing the chances that probably we are in this type of movement. So this is the movement that we may face. We may see ABC big pattern, and this is a strong reason that we may see the price moving down close to the bottom. So from the 1000, that can be the first move for a small ABC movement, up to 2000, that can be the bigger movement that we may see on USD yen currency pairs. However, this is not all. If we are going to delete these moves, and if we are going to look at on a lower time frame, there is a strong reason why I'm looking at also for a bigger movement. On the 5th wave completion, we can clearly see also another 5th wave pattern that is already taking shape here. So this is increasing the chances that we are close to a 5th wave, of a bigger 5th wave. It looks like we may be close to the end of the movement. Probably we may see the price to extend a bit more, because we can never know how it may react during FOMC before it moves down, or the price may move down from this point here, and it will complete the top of the 5th wave, because we have also a type of small double top pattern here. So it can be a possible scenario that I'm looking at during this moment. This can push the price down further. It has chances. However, also a small movement before the big move down may happen, so we cannot rule out this possibility. Overall, we are on the 5th wave of a bigger 5th wave, and this is increasing the chances for all the bearish movement that I'm looking at. So it makes sense that on a daily chart, the price may face resistance close to the first area here. If you want to take further profits, that is another point, so you have to focus on a lower time frame. But for the bigger movement, I'm focused only on 2 points. One is the first and the strongest structure zone, that will be at 138, and the next one will be on the lower part of the structure. Considering that we may see any change on the yield curve from the Bank of Japan, if they are going to continue to increase the interest rates further, if this zone will be broken, then the profit potential can be higher. What we have only to be careful with the USDN is only the swap rate, which is very high, but as long as we can manage the trades from the top, it should be fine, because we can take all the ways down uh, these movements. So this is all for USDN. I'm focused on this currency pair for this week, and if this is going to begin the bearish movement, all the other EM pairs will begin a bearish movement as well. So this is so far the current analysis that I'm looking on USDN, considering also the critical zone that the price is already facing so far. So 105 was not an important price for the Bank of Japan to intervene in the market, but the current price position probably is one of the most important parts of this pattern. So I hope you guys enjoyed the analysis. Please don't forget to hit the like button and follow. Thank you so much. Bye bye.